just watching some stuff on Denzel Washington. I like Denzel. I really like Denzel. He's articulate. He's moral. Moral in a godly way. Not moral in a self-moral way, as in we cannot derive morals from our own self, judged by our own standards and our own whims and wishes and wills at the drop of a hat. It doesn't work that way. If that's the case, then who's to say what's right and what's wrong? There needs to be a governing a governing overseer. And when I say a governing overseer, I really don't mean the government. I mean something that's been proven and tested for the past couple of thousand years. Based off Christian morality. Now, again, I'm no Bible basher. Don't get me wrong. As far as sinners goes, wow, I'm up there. Trust me, I'm up there. I've got the scars to prove it. However, he just had something profound to say that I was watching. And somebody dropped a bomb question on him about Donald Trump's fence or something. When he was live somewhere. Now, his answer was brilliant. He says, you know what I think? I think it's time that we came together to hold our political parties' feet to the fire and demand that they work together in the best interest of the people. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing here. But demand. We need to hold their feet to the fire. Hold them accountable. If we don't, it's just all about this team and that team. This team wins, that team wins. Which creates more and more and more segregation and division in our own communities. And the more that we keep allowing more and more and more political parties to enter the arena, the more and more division we're going to get. You think about it. We had 2 parties, then it was 3 parties, it was 4 parties. Now we've got a multitude of parties and a bunch of for lack of a better word, privateers. And the problem is everybody's following people that don't necessarily have their best interests at heart. They have their own best interests at heart. Look at these privateers. Excuse me. Look at these privateers. Made all these promises. You know, you've got your People First Party and what is it, the Smokers Party or whatever, and the Libertarians, and you got Palmer United, you got One Nation, United Nations, I was going to say, United Nations Party. Well, there's food for thought, isn't it? We'll chew on that one a bit later. The Liberal Coalition, the Liberal Democrats, Labor, which have changed the spelling of their brand for some reason a few years back to the American spelling. Ooh. Don't know if you heard that. That had some grunt. How many political parties do we want to cause more and more and more segregation, division, splintering, fragmentation of our communities? It's getting to the point family members are fighting against each other because they don't see eye to eye politically. Politics is life. Can you see eye to eye on what you believe to be right and wrong? Judged by, tried and proven basic Christian moral ethics, traditional family values. I think we can all agree on those things, can't we? I'm pretty damn sure that we would all agree on what is right and wrong, what are good and bad family values and social ethics, social cohesion, manners, a fair go for everyone, as in equal opportunity to have a go, like to get a go if you have a go. I mean that in the real sense. None of this equity rubbish on equality of outcome regardless of the effort. You've got to put effort in. Now, I think we can agree on what people do in their own homes is their own business. I couldn't care less what God you pray to in your own home. Don't bring it to my home, I don't bring mine to your home. That's fair. You go to your church, I'll go to mine. However, our law system is based on secular Christian, Protestant Christian values. It just is. It's the most cohesive and peaceful and respectful way for any society to live. I do no harm to you, you do no harm to me. You do no harm to anybody, there is no crime. What people do in their own homes is their own business. If somebody gives you a fair day's work, you give them a fair day's pay. If you give somebody a fair day's pay, you owe them a fair day's work. You know, the balance of things. Some may call it yin and yang, I guess. But the only way we're going to get that, I truly, honestly believe, is that we have to walk away. We have to dump this band of no-goods. I liken Albanese as Noodles Romanoff and the rest of the entire political arena as his band of no-goods. Noodles Romanoff and the band of no-goods. They're all Dudley Do-Rottens. They're terrible people. They've made an awful lot of money out of our misery. I think even holding their feet to the fire is not going to do any good. We need to just completely turn on them. Walk away from them. Not turn on them in a violent sense, just, sorry, you are no longer relevant to us. You're completely out of touch with us. Even Pauline Hanson, what's her business? Going to Thailand and having billionaire dinners with the likes of Gina Reinhardt, and going to America, to Mar-a-Lago multiple times to have dinner with Donald Trump, the likes of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all the other billionaires. I don't think any of those people have our best interest at heart. None of them. They're all interested in that and more power. That's all they want. Remember, they are the 1%. We are the 99. Why should the 1% get the say over 99%? Are you really happy with the way things are? Are you content with life? With the rules and hurdles and hoops that you got to jump through, and all the losses of freedoms and liberties and rights that we seem to be having now. Every 6 months to a year we're losing a handful of things. Tiny little things, but when you put them all together, we're not left with much, are we? We're losing our own identity, our culture as a cohesive society, by introducing incompatible cultures and religions into our country that we didn't want, we never asked for, we never permitted. we need to form our own governance and completely turn our back on this system. Otherwise, we're all going to get dragnetted into a complete and utter mess of a digital AI society. I don't think we want that, do we? I don't believe anybody wants that, not for a second. If you do, you need your head examined. We need to go back to a system where it's us, the Constitution, and then our governing body of people that govern in our interests. It's the only way that these things are going to work. And we need our proper Constitution, not this green load of mucus. We need things to be solid, where things must, not may, must be a law, must be adhered to, not may be, open to interpretation by the government, where they can just switch things on and off as they feel like, because it doesn't say they must, it says they may. There's a big difference between those two words. That's the main thing they changed in our Constitution, the words must to may. And that's what's given them carte blanche to do whatever the hell they like. What do you think? Seriously, I want to know, what do you think?